Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have another extremely bright young guest with us today. You may be aware at the tail end of last week, the A-level results came out, and many within our community have achieved the kind of A-level results which we should be and are extremely proud of. I have a young man with me today, Taahseen Miah, who I'll introduce you to in a moment. He got 3 A stars and an A at A-level, and those were in the subjects of further mathematics, computer science and physics, and he is off to Cambridge University, inshallah. Isn't that great? Isn't that a lovely story? But I just want to read, before I go to him, I just want to read a message from his father, and this is what he had to say, and I want to flag this up at the outset because it puts into perspective the kind of direction, the embryonic stages of this community and the kind of hard work that these young men and women within our community have had to go through in order to be able to achieve what they have, the highest of places academically. And it was, of course, no mean feat, especially when they come from very modest backgrounds. Let me tell you the message that he has for you, the viewers. He says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Taahseen Miah, and I'm originally from Usmani Nagar in Sylhet. I am so proud of my son, Taahseen Miah, for the A-level results he's achieved. I work in an Indian restaurant and wasn't able to be here today because of work. I've worked so hard for my son, and I want to encourage all parents whose children are at school or studying for their A-levels to support them in their education. This support is important. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. What a beautiful message. Somebody who's very humble, who cannot be here purely because of the hard work that he does on a daily basis, but nevertheless wants a message directed to yourselves about how important it is to support our young children. Taahseen, absolutely wonderful to have you here on the show with us. We've heard the beautiful message from your father, and you're off to Cambridge. Tell us a little bit about your journey, please.
Well, I was born, my dad, humble, works in an Indian restaurant, my mum, housewife. I've got 3 siblings. I've lived a normal life. I went to primary school, went to normal secondary school, black, brown, white people. There's not been many, it's not been out of the ordinary. And I think I felt that way until maybe year 10 or year 11, where I realised that Allah has gifted me with the ability to, I think, retain more information a little bit easier. So I found that I was more academically inclined than some of my peers. So I decided to pursue that route, and then I found myself with, plethora of 9s, 8 and a 7 at GCSE level. And then I saw that maybe the mathematical sphere was where I wanted to go into. So for my A-levels, I chose maths, further maths, computer science and physics. And then for the next 2 years of my life, that's what I did. But I also grounded myself, and I stayed humble. Yeah.
Well, sitting next to you, we have somebody who's been an inspiration to you as well. His name is Faz Haq. Faz Bhai, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. You're from the tuition centre called Educate Excellence, yes. And you have played a role in shaping this young man to become the remarkable man that he is. MashaAllah, as we say, alhamdulillah. And look, first of all, I know that he's incredibly grateful to you. Yeah. But secondly, he was talking about his humble beginnings. And he was talking about his environment, the kind of environment that he had around him. Yeah. But nevertheless, despite the fact that he had that background, he is now going to be, inshallah, amongst those who went to the likes of Eton, the likes of other prestigious schools around the country and overseas. Yeah. Isn't that a remarkable story?
It's a monumentous occasion that, when you see your students do well. It's perhaps probably second to a dad seeing their son doing extremely well. So a teacher always wants their students to be greater than them. And alhamdulillah, I've got the opportunity to see him grow from year 6 all the way to now attending university. So I've always seen that he had untapped potential, especially as you know, lifestyle right now, TikTok, Snapchat, social media crazy. For someone to be disciplined and work hard during those times, you could probably get away with not working too hard in GCSEs, but A-levels. And the A-levels he chose were the 4 most difficult A-levels that we've seen. That's maths, further maths, physics, computer science. And he's done tremendously well to ground himself and keep self-discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you raised some important points, Faiz Bhai, and I wonder how you dealt with the challenges and the distractions. I mean, in this day and age, as Faiz Bhai was rightly saying, there are so many distractions aside from the kind of devices that we have in the palm of our hands, and you know the access to the entire world, effectively, that we have. You nevertheless stayed focused. You knew what you wanted, despite the challenges that you had around you. You got there, alhamdulillah. First of all, are you excited? How excited are you about Cambridge and what would you like to do there? And secondly, what kind of hobbies and pastimes do you have? I dare say you didn't have many because the kind of intensive work that you had to do to get to where you are you going to make some me time?
Well, I wouldn't say that's completely true. Actually, I feel like I ground myself very strongly. I think I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
You know, I wake up maybe. Whenever I wake up, first thing I do is pray Fajr. Maybe a few hours later, I'll eat breakfast, and then I'd eat lunch. But I do have a lot of me time. I'd play PlayStation, maybe football a few times, maybe go gym. But of course, there is when it's that intensive. It's a 2-year period, because GCSE is 5 years. So in A-level, it's a lot of content, and in a short amount of time. So I found myself maybe I'd keep myself grounded by these habits, and then I'd also implement these revision sort of blocks where I can revise, and then also keep myself, not too engrossed in that and maybe burn out. So I feel like I was really content with how I handled myself in the last 2 years.
Amazing. I mean, your peers, those around you who did A-levels with you, how did they do, and what are they hoping to do, and how did you guys celebrate? The fact is that you were probably the apex of your peer group, and going off to Cambridge. I mean, how was that? I'm sure they were absolutely thrilled with your results and the fact that you got into Cambridge.
Yeah, obviously, my peer group. I think towards the end, I became closer with, sort of the people in my maybe further maths classes, physics classes, because it's a lot harder to make time for the others that do different subjects, because we've got different focuses. So when we got to the end, we would go through that together. So when we got there, it would be like we finally completed it. I think we all did relatively decently, but it's not just about the exams as well, because it's about the lead up to the exams. I think having a family that can allow me to have this regularity and not deal with too much stress outside of doing what I need to do to survive was tremendously helpful.
Absolutely. Faiz Bhai, listen, let me come to you for a brief moment, if I may. I mean, the thing is, that story that we've just heard from Taahseen is mirrored throughout the community. Yeah. People who, like Taahseen's father, working round the clock to make sure that they provide a slightly better life for their children than perhaps they did. And the gratitude that we hear from Taahseen, and in return, what he does is he works hard, he perseveres, he gets there, keeps his focus as to what exactly he wants out of life. We as a community should celebrate that, shouldn't we? Because, as I was saying at the outset of this particular program, I'm a huge fan of celebrating our community, because I know exactly how difficult it is for many people. Taahseen, the guy next door, for how difficult it is. But then when they start excelling as they are, members of our community can be found in every strata of industry in the United Kingdom. When they start excelling, a deep sense of pride, particularly for you, definitely, as a teacher or somebody who effectively holds their hand throughout that particular journey.
Yeah, I guess it is a huge occasion for the community. It's not just himself, that they can see that someone from not the most affluent or privileged background can achieve great results, and there's potential out there. So it gives them
and the best of results, Oxford, Cambridge. I mean, come on, you can't get better. Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's something that they didn't see in their future. Yeah. He's in one of the top universities around the world. Yeah. It's not just in the UK, around the world. So, and he's managed to do that, coming from a general school. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So all praise to Allah that he's been able to do that. Yeah. And you see, sometimes you have to realise where sometimes we don't see where the goal is and what we can achieve. But being consistent, working hard, why we're working hard, it's not always there. But then now you see the fruits. Now everyone else sees the fruits around him. When they were playing games, he was studying.
Yeah.
And I think the opious amount of homework that he had compared to his peers,
Yes.
now he sees that, you know what, people are celebrating over the world. Even him, he's probably shocked right now, thinking, why is everyone celebrating what I've done? I've just kind of studied a bit, did a bit of hard work, but he's done something not just for himself, for the community at large.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the next step, I mean, you do your undergraduate degree. What next? What's your vision?
I mean, I feel like it's important to focus on what's next immediately. So I feel like the important thing for me would be to, get my integrated masters, and then, but that's also a process as well. So I think year 1, and then year 2, then year 3, then my final year, and then by then I'll already know what I want to do next.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to take it a step at a time.
Right. Okay. So pace it. And in terms of the kinds of things you're looking forward to at Cambridge, I mean, we had a chat earlier on. As you know, my youngest son is going to Cambridge University as well. So hopefully you'll hook up with him. And there's various different activities that they do in Cambridge. I mean, the kind of the Islamic Society, for example, the various other societies. Do you have any ideas of what sort of social life that you'd like to have? Because at the same time, as well as the intensive course that you're going to be doing, you need to balance that as well, because that's part of the experience, particularly at a place like Cambridge, where the social experience is something which is unique.
Yeah, I think the problem with a lot of people my age specifically is we want this, high intensity, fast paced lifestyle, whereas I don't think that's for me. I think I'd want something, maybe a few friends, Muslim, who remind me constantly of Allah, and we base ourselves around that. Maybe share a few hobbies as well, and I think maybe just leading a life grounded will be something beneficial for me, not only during university, but for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Now listen, we've got about a minute left for this particular aspect of it, but what message would you like to give to the Taahseens who are 12, 13, 14 years old, leading up to their GCSEs, and perhaps those who are thinking about their A-levels as well? What's the message? Because in addition to your hard work and the kind of comments we've had before about perseverance and what have you, is there anything else that they need to do to be able to be someone like yourself?
Yeah, I think trying your hardest is what's important, because even my results weren't the epitome of perfection. So I didn't get 4 A stars, I got 3 A stars. I didn't get all 9s, I got an 8 and a 7 as well, for example. So I think getting to that level is what's important, because at the end of the day, I'm still in Cambridge. I've still got my placement confirmed. So I think it's important not to try so hard that you burn yourself out, but to try as hard as you can, where you can be proud and you can also be healthy in your mind.
Well, thank you very much to you for sharing your experiences, and I can assure you that you're inspiring a lot of young people out there. And also, you're putting a smile on the face of our older generations who, when they landed on these shores, were having that particular dream that maybe we would have our young people like yourself, who you exemplify very well. Thank you also to Faizbai for the kind of hard work that you've given, not just Taahseen, but many, many like him. And I know that you do play an instrumental role on that.